Well, welcome back to Cottage Farmstead. If we haven't met before, I'm Rebecca. And spring is starting to just warm up outside, but there's still a few things that I want to get done in the house to prepare for the garden season ahead so I don't have to worry about these organizational tasks. The one I'm tackling today is our meat freezer. Typically, this is fairly organized as we're working through eating the meat pretty regularly. But back in January, we sent one of our cows to the butcher, and I had to very quickly empty out this whole freezer to have enough space to put half a cow in it, as my parents were unable to come pick up their quarter of the beef the day that I picked up the meat. So I had to store it all in here for a few days. And since then, I just haven't gotten around to reorganizing and getting an inventory of what's in our meat freezer here. I like having a general list of what I have in the meat freezer downstairs here, so that when I'm doing menu planning, I don't have to go up and down the stairs to continue checking what I have in here. And it also gives me a good idea of what I need to put on, say, the grocery list as well when I am working on that. So I brought a pair of gloves with me, as this meat is going to be quite cold, so I want to freeze my fingers. I bought my previous inventory of this meat freezer, and I will just write what I have of each item on the side here so that I can print it off a little more neatly to put on the fridge when I'm finished down here. Then over in my vegetable and fruit freezer, I had 2 packs of chicken breasts that I had gotten at the store. So I'm gonna stick those back over here with so that I have everything all in one place and add it to my inventory. So I did just remember that Farmer Nathan and I did take an inventory of the whole half of the cow when we brought it home to make it easier to divide up with my parents. We have eaten some of the beef since then, but I have a pretty good idea, since it's only been about 4 weeks, how much I've eaten of it. So we are going to just divide up this original inventory, subtract out the things I know we have eaten, and call it good enough. This inventory doesn't have to be 100% perfect. It's just to give me an idea of, okay, we have a lot of ground beef, I should do more of those recipes, or we're getting low on, say, sausage, and I might need to get that from the store next time I'm out. But this doesn't have to be 100% accurate all the time, as I can always come down here and check and make sure. And over in the other freezer, I had some beef fat that I need to render in tallow from a different butcher, and I had 2 packs of ground beef that we had before we had the cow butchered that we'll need to eat through as well. And then this 1 pack of beef bones didn't initially fit in this freezer when we put the half cow in, so I'm just gonna move it back over here. So the last thing left over in our meat and veggie freezer should be all of the pork items that I had to move out of our meat freezer. So I have a pack of pork chops, some ribs. See what else we crammed in here. Have another pork chop, some bacon, and some pork fat to render down into lard. So what I try to do is to have whatever the main meat that we have at this particular point in time fill up the main area of this deep freezer. Then this one section over here, the secondary meat, and then our third meat fills this basket. This time around, my pork sausage didn't fit in here, so I put it over here with the chicken. But it's a way to help sort of keep this area organized so that I'm not having to dig down in the bottom of this for a piece of chicken that I know should be in here somewhere. So one other thing that we typically keep in our meat freezer is our cheese. I generally think about it in my brain as all my proteins go in that freezer and all my fruits and vegetables go in this freezer. But since that one's pretty packed to the hilt, I'm gonna keep my cheese over here since I have space, as we've been eating through our vegetables and fruits over the winter. So we buy 5-pound large blocks of cheddar and mozzarella cheese from Azure Standard, as it saves us a fair amount of money on organic cheese. And then when we get that cheese, we cut it up into smaller blocks. We put all of it in the freezer except the block that we're working off of. And it's a great way to be able to save money on cheese and also always have some on hand when we need it. So I'm gonna count how many blocks I have of cheddar and mozzarella in here before wrapping up the inventory. So while I was updating the inventory, I remembered that the 2 hunters that hunted on our property this year had given us some venison meat, and I had moved that upstairs into a bag, and I need to move that back downstairs and include it into my inventory. So I'm gonna add it real quick before I run it back down into the chest freezer. Well, I hope you found this video interesting and helpful to see how one family homestead manages their meat storage. If you have any other food storage questions or just curious how we manage some of the organizational side of a homestead, feel free to comment down below. I'm happy to show more of our process here to keep things straight and organized and functioning smoothly. With that, I'll catch you next time.